Okay, what I'm doing today is I'm working with a 3D pen, and it's very simple to use. Basically, you put the plastic in the back. You just checking to make sure my mic is on. Let's zoom down a little bit so you can see it better. Alright, you put the plastic in the back. I have my drawing taped down, and over this I've got deli paper. That's what I'm going to draw on. You push the button and then let it build to temperature. And it builds quite quickly to temperature. My biggest problem is this stuff in the back gets all tangled up, but I like to do them in, this is one that I've done, and I like the sketchiness of them. And I'll show you the way they print when I'm done. But I'm trying to get it up to temperature here. 174, 5, 6, 177 I guess is the temperature. Now you push the button and see how it feeds out the end. And basically I'm going to pull that little bit off. But do not touch it because it's very hot. I'm just pulling the... Alright, so you're just drawing with it basically. I'm waiting for it to get back to temp. And I'm just drawing along right now my outer line of the elephant. You're not pushing down really hard, but you're making sure it's making contact with the paper so that it does stick to the paper. Now I'm going to stop down there and then I'm going to come down this way. Now the little things that don't stick, that stick up in the air, you can go back and cut with a scissors or something later. Now, I'm definitely going to have to fix his back end later. Now when you have trouble just like right there, just pull the mess off of there. And sometimes this stuff gets tangled and does not want to feed, and that's what it's doing right now. So I just untangle a bit of it. Like I said, you can cut anywhere where it didn't do what you wanted it to do. Like I'm going to come over and do the ear. I'm going to make sure it sticks down before I move. And I'm going to make sure it attaches up to that part. And then I'm going to move in a little and out a little, trying to make those little wrinkles in the ear. Make it wiggly. Now I'm going back over it. I attach it back up when I start again. I'm going to kind of fill the ear up here a little bit by going back and forth. What I like to do is take a pencil so that I don't pull up the whole thing when I stop. Hold it down a little bit. I'm going to come down some more so you can see a little better. Whoops, that's the wrong way. Okay, that's about as far down as I can go. Alright, so now I'm going to do this bottom part where the leg is. And I got to push it because it came undone here. I'm going to pull it apart so that I got some untangled bits. I'm going to hold it for a minute to get it connected up to that one right there where I ended the... And I'm going to wiggle a little to get this knobby knee stuff going. And I'm not pushing down hard, but I am making sure it's contacting the paper. I'm going nice and slowly. The paper's lifting up a bit, so I'll wet off on it. Right there, I'm just going to let it down. I'll come back and attach that up later. But now I'm going to do these back legs. I'm going to do the outline first, and then I'm going to go fill it in with some scribbles. I'm going to make sure it's loose enough so it's not going to get caught up. I'm untangling this stuff to make sure I get a nice couple of loops. I'm going to do both back legs on the outline of both back legs. And there is a speed thing on this, but I keep mine really slow. Make sure that they're attached up to the thing before it. The nice thing about doing an elephant is you really don't want smooth lines anyways. And any like hairs that you get, you can... Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to fill in this area. Probably not going to fill it totally in. Just go back and forth with some scribble lines to make it look shadowed. And you can do different techniques, like you can, like I said, you can scribble, or you can actually fill whole areas in by just going gently back and forth. Now, you don't worry about the bumps. I mean, this side is not going to go on your gel plate. The side that's on the paper, which is flat, is what's going to go on your gel plate. Just like when you do stencils out of the glue, hot glue. The side that goes to your gel plate is the side that's on the paper, not the side that's got all the bumps. I'm just doing a scribbly because I think that's what an elephant should be like. They're so bumpy and textured that this is a perfect way to do an elephant. Now I've got a bump there that I don't want. But I'm going to go back later and melt down. Like I said, you can take fingernail clippers or scissors and just clip this where you want it clipped. I do enjoy doing these, but I usually go a lot slower than this. But I'm going to finish this leg and then work on the head. You want to make sure everything is connected up to the main. Outline of it. Just works better that way. Now that one is extremely bumpy. But now we're going to work on the... But I have everything taped down. I've taped it to a cutting mat, and then there's my drawing, and then there's gel paper over that. Let's do the head. There it goes. Sometimes it gets to the point where it's hard to see and I have to redo it and come back at it from the other direction. There's this part. Now I'm going to make sure I attach it up. And I'll have to cut that little bubble out of there, but or maybe not. I need a lot of shadow over there, so I might be able to make use of it that way. Just working on some shadow in here. Now when you get it where it's not hooking, you just go to that part that's already there and just linger for a minute and it'll melt that into the new stuff. So that's how I do it. I don't know how everybody else does it. And don't worry about those flyaway pieces, you can cut them later. Okay, I'm going to work on the tusk. Now the hardest thing is going to be the eyeball, and I'm just going to simplify it. This is going to be the hard part. I'm going to have to hook it up somewhere. So okay, hopefully I can get the last few minutes of this, but I'm going to finish this up off camera and then I will come back because my camera keeps shutting off. I will come back and finish it and show you how it prints. Okay, so I've got them finished, mostly finished. I'm going to show you what I do now. I go and I will clip, like there's a little one sticking out from his tail there and here. You'll have little strings sticking out and I'm going to just clip them real quick. I don't see any more. And the other thing I'm going to do, and you can do this as you're drawing, and you can go along like do that section and then press it down while it's still hot. But I like to get out my heat gun. And I'll heat up an area. And you can see when it gets hot enough. Starts to get a little glossy. And then press it down to flatten it. But I'm just using a piece of cardboard that's got paint on it, and paint helps keep it from sticking. And you got to carefully look through and make sure that things are not hanging out in the middle of nowhere, that they're attached somewhere. Now right here it's sticking up a little too much for my liking. I'm going to melt that little piece back down. Press it. You gotta be careful because where it's thin right there, see it come up and you can just go back over it. I'm gonna go back over that. I'm just gonna melt this down a little so it's not sticking up so much. Okay, so most of it is nicely flat. Okay. So where his foot here, where I pulled it up a little, I'm just going to go fix that. Plug this back in. And I think I'm going to go over this part here because that's a little bit thin where his ear comes out. I'm going to go over that too. But other than that, I don't see anything else other than the foot and that I need to do. Alright, well, it's heating up. Heats up pretty fast. And then I'm going to print this and show you how it prints. But it's pretty flattened. And that really helps it, but you're not going to be using this side. You're going to be using the back side, but by flattening it, you push this in and it fills those dark areas you want dark a little better. So, one more second. 5 degrees to go. Okay. Now I'm going to do it off the paper up there, get it going. Now I'm going to start up here and double that line. Going very slow so I can make a nice thick line there. Bring that back. I'm going to double it along the bottom too. Okay, I'm going to go up here and double this one. Let's see, any place else. Maybe right here. Make sure that's attached well. It looks like everything's attached pretty well, so I'm going to go shut this off, snip the little ending things off. Okay, and I will be back when I'm ready to print. I got a huge tube of black, I might as well use it. I'm going to use some black. And I'm just going to gently peel it off the paper. Pull the paper out. Now the only part that's really thin is this back here, so I'm going to be very careful when doing that. And like I showed you with the foot, you can even after you're done, even after you've printed it once, you can go back and fix it. Just like drawing over a drawing is all you do. Kind of sliding my fingernails under it where it sticks. Now you can see everything is attached to that original frame part that I did. So it comes up in one, it's very flimsy, but it comes up in one piece. Get rid of that. Now, Ugh. Grab a bigger roller than this one. I need to take my rollers in and clean them, as you can see. Alright. Now he did separate when I laid him down. See how the head right there? I'm not going to worry about that because when I lay it down, it's going to be okay. Oops. Not there, it's not going to be. Alright, now what I'm going to do, a soft cloth in there and see what I've got. And like I said, you can fix it. If you don't like what you got, you can cut off the pieces you don't like and go back. Okay. I am going to have to fix that head. See if we can get a decent print out of it. Might have to do it more than once. Well, that's not a horrible print, but that's something I could color over. Let's see if we can get one more up. And if not, I'll just print it again. It's not hot in here today, so maybe I can get one more print out of this. And then we'll do it again. Oh yeah. This trunk didn't come out very good, but you see that? We're going to do one more with a little bit less paint. But yeah, I'm going to have to fix that head. Get on there. Pull up what we can. And that the side that you're laying on your gel plate is perfectly flat because it was on the paper. This side is bumpy. You can feel the bumps, so I can kind of feel where I am on the... Alright, let's hope that does something. As you can see, some of the attachments are coming loose, and you just go back and fix it. That's all you gotta do. Ooh, everything's moving today. Yeah, I've got to bring my rollers in and clean them. I find that Murphy's oil soap is the best. Just soak them in that in warm water. And when you come back to clean them, they're just perfect. Alright, let's see what we got. Hopefully the paper won't stick. It's very dry. That's more what I'm looking for. Alright, let me pull it down a little bit so you can see better. I'll come up a little with it. You see that? You get a nice print from it. And it gives you that nice white line in the middle between the, I just love what it does. You see how nice that looks? I'll do some photos at the end of this one, and I'm going to be working on this one too. But I'll show you real quick how you fix it, because that was coming apart. I didn't want thick lines, but it was kind of coming apart as I was doing it. This. And all you have to do is plug this back in. Let that heat up. Now usually I work on a tile surface, but my tile is in the house, so I'm just going to put it back on this. This is a cutting mat. And I'm not going to get anywhere near the cutting mat, so basically what I'm going to do is stick that back together. Where it came apart up here and down here. Hold it where it needs to be. Just give it a little bit of, just a little bit of back and forth love. Mash it down. I come over here and fix this tail. What I think I'm going to do with the tail is cut it. And redo it. I'm going to hold it where I want it. Come over it. Redo it. And I think I'm going to redo this back here where it's a little thin. In any place you're not getting what you want, you can redo it even after you've printed it a dozen times. So I've thickened it up where I think it needs to be thickened. Everything else looks fine. But that's how you fix it. So, and these things, I don't know how much they are now. I think when I got mine they were like $30 or something. I'll put a link to, but they're all different prices. And for doing this is not something that's so fussy that you need to worry about getting a better one or something. But anyways, that's how you fix it. That's how you print it. Thank you very much for viewing my video. Like I said, you could take a photo from a magazine and go over it with this. I've done that before too. And make it your own. Because it sure won't look like the photo from the magazine when you've done it. But thank you very much for viewing my video. Please put a like if you like it. Helps my algorithms. And subscribe if you want to see more. And hit the bell icon if you want to be notified when more videos come up. Thank you very much. You have a lovely, lovely day. Okay, I'm going to show you one more thing you can do with this. Get the temperature up again. Gonna have to feed it through because I pulled it out. But you take a magazine, any old magazine. Now keep in mind when you're doing your picture, it has to connect up. Like I showed you with the elephant, you have to somehow connect it all up with the outer. Well, not necessarily just the outer, but the whole thing has to connect up somehow. So when you pick it up off the paper, you don't. Like on this one, if I just did her eyes and then started to do her hairline, I could leave her eyes behind when I picked up her hairline. So if you want it to come up in one piece, now you could do it in sections if that's what you want. Okay, this is almost ready, and I have to feed this through. I'll show you how to feed it through. Can you hear that? I'm holding the button down so it's feeding it through to the end. And I'll see when I see it come out, I'll know I'm ready to start drawing with it, but right now I'm feeding it all the way through. There, you heard that little pop you hear when it comes out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just basically a scribble outline-ish thing. I'm going to start with her hair. Just kind of make an outline of her face. Now I'm going to have to connect this stuff up somehow. And I'm not pushing down hard, so I'm going to fill in this darkness down here. I actually like doing it over magazine paper because it works really well. I'm going to stop there for a minute, and I'm going to come up and go up here and finish this part. Give her a part here. I'll show you how I can connect up the eyes. It's just shading. I'm going to come down to get her face all in one, and her fingers. I'm going to stop there. Then I'm going to come down and do the hair. I'm going to ignore the ear, but I am going to do the fingers, around the fingers. And then outline the fingers. Stopping every once in a while, like a fingernail. So you can kind of see. But these are generally fingers. Normally I just do the face, but I felt like... Now I'm going to go along the bottom edge and connect it up. Now, see how I did that general? going to connect that top edge up. Because this would be bigger than my gel plate, so I'm going to connect those up. You do have to keep worrying about connecting it up. Now I'm going to leave that. That is all connected. I'm going to finish the fingers and then I'll go on to the face. Okay, so how I would do this now, I do this shading, see this light shading here? I do some light shading there. And I'm going to bring that up to her mouth. I'm going to follow the outline of the top of her mouth and fill it in. But I'm just the bottom, I'm just going to go along the bottom. That's thunder that you're hearing out there. We're finally getting a little rain. Now I'm going to do a little shading here, connecting it up to the outer edge. And when you're done with this, the nice thing about this is you shouldn't really use magazine images for your art. But when you're done with this is definitely all your own. You're just basically using it as a very loose guide. It won't look anything like this image. No one would ever know where you get this image from. It's just using it as a reference. The eyes are a little harder. But I'm going to come all the way up with the nose. All the way into the eyebrows. On this side. I'm going to go along the eyes, but I'm going to connect it up to what I just did. And a little bit of the darkness under her eye. Now this one I'm going to connect up by doing the eyebrow all the way over. A little shading on the side. Connect that up there. Connect it up over there, a little shading under the eye. Now, I'm going to do this shading here. And I'm just scribbling, basically. Scribbling in the direction that the shade goes. Just giving her little plump cheeks. Now I'm going to go do the eyeball, and that I'm just going to follow the round. I'm going to make sure I connect it up really well. And I'm just going around and around until I leave a dot. And if you find you filled it in too much, you can just poke a hole out when you're done. Fill up her eyebrows a little bit more. Now see how everything is connecting up? I'm going to connect up some of this dark hair over here. On this side and just end it there. You can do finer lines, but you still have to connect them up to something, especially the finer lines. And back over it, make sure my lines connect somewhere. Where I see shading, I'm just doing some scribbling. Now that's going to be kind of confusing where the hands are, but let's go through and make sure it's connected up well. Or my noisy neighbor with his car. Alright. Now it's not, as you'll see when I get done, it's not going to look anything like it's... Ooh, let's do it rain out there now. I'm going to throw something over my head to go in the house. I don't think I have an umbrella out here. Okay. And then you just have to pull it off. Which is not as hard as you would think. Just kind of roll the paper back off it. Now don't do this to something that you plan on using to print, because it's going to ruin. It's going to take some of the ink with it when you pull it back. Now see, I didn't connect well enough to the top, but I can come back and fix that. Once I get it disconnected, I can see what I've got. And where the paper sticks, I haven't noticed that makes that much difference. So I don't really worry about it. That storm is getting bad out there. It'd be a hurricane for all I know. I never watched the news. Alright, I'm going to take this off and I'll be back. As you can see, I had some of the paper stick, and I went back and reinforced it. Now you can see where I reinforced it. This is the beige colored. I wanted to make sure you could see where the difference was. But can you see the beige colored plastic where I reinforced it? So let's just do a quick print of this, and then I'll get in the house before that storm gets even worse than it is. Sounds pretty bad now, but we'll just do a quick print so you can see how this works. And you can, if you worry about the paper sticking, I'm not too upset with what's stuck. It's stuck around the eyes, which I actually think will make a better print than, we'll see. But you can put tracing paper or deli paper over the, if you're going to try and save the magazine image. I don't know what that is on my plate, but I'm not happy with it. There it goes. Let's try a thin layer. Like I said, it's a little bit bigger than my plate, but I'm going to press it down. Yeah, I reinforced around the hair because as I was pulling it off, it was getting harder and harder to pull off because it's so thin, but it does work better when you do thick lines. let's see how this comes out. Pull the whole thing up with the paper. Or try and pull the whole thing up with the paper. Okay. Let's just pull it up. Now normally when I do these, I do what I just did and then I let it dry and put a layer of white or clear over the top and then pull it up. But this is just to show you what you can do. And you'll see that this will look nothing like that magazine image. So and there you go. You can see it very clearly, but that's the kind of image you get. You get that double line with the white in the middle. It's just gorgeous. But that's what you can do with a magazine image and one of these nifty little pens. The one I've got is, I think it was 30 something. It's a Scribe 3D. It's this. I'll put the link below. But that's what you can do with this, and you have a lovely, lovely day.